Gopijana Balaba Girivaradari.
Gopijana Balaba Girivaradari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Bandachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Bandachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janabalaba Girivaradari. Balaba Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tera Banachari. Shishi Radha Madhava Astasaki Ki Chaitanya Chandradaya Mandir Ki Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Idam Bhagavatanama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakaran Bhagavan Rihri Nishreya Shraya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasti Ayato Mahat. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God. It was composed by the great sage Vyasa. In the maturity of his realization, it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Wow, the whole world will change. And this is Canto 10, Krishna's face, the face of Krishna. Chapter 33, the last of the 4 Ras Lila chapters, 5 Ras Lila chapters, right? Panchadhyay? Panchadhyay? No. One more? 33, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Oh, this is it. Yeah. Okay. And this is verse number 4. Okay, please repeat. Tato Dundubhayo Nador Tato Dundubhayo Nador Nipetuch Pushpa Vrishtaya Nipetuch Pushpa Vrishtaya Jagor Gandharva Pataya Jagor Gandharva Pataya Sastrika tad yasho malam. Tato dundu bayo noador. Nipetu pushpa vrishtayah. Jagor gandharva patayah. Sastrika tad yasho malam. Vikas tad malomiyam. Boliye. Tato dundu bayo nedur. Nepuda puta pushpaya. Jagor gandharva pataya. Jangadurgata malam. Tato dundu baya nedur. Nipetyo pushpakataya. Aturganda vapataya. Tatur dundu bayanedar. Nipeto pushpa vristaya. Jagur gandharva pataya. Stastrika stadyasho malam. Mataji, ladies. Tatur dundu bayo nedor. Nipeto pushpagandaya. Jagur gandharva pataya. Sakrika stadyasho malam. Tatadamba mayanedor. Go pushpa vrishtayaha. Yamvita pataya. Sakrika stadyasho malam. Tataha. Then. Yeah. Dundubayaha. Kettle drums. Nebahu. Nedahu. Resounded. Nipetuhu. Fell down. Pushpa. Of flowers. Vristayaha. Rain. Jaguhu. They sang. Gandharva Patayaha. The chief of Gandharvas. Sastrikaha. Along with their wives. Tat. Of him. Lord Krishna. Yashaho. The glories. Amalam. Spotless. Yeah. Tata dundubayo nedur. Nipetu pushpa vrishtayaha. Jagur gandharva pataya. Stastrikash tad yasho malam. Okay. Kettle drums then resounded in the sky, while flowers rained down, and the chief Gandharvas and their wives sang Lord Krishna's spotless glories. Please repeat. Kettle drums then resounded in the sky, while flowers rained down, and the chief Gandharvas and their wives sang Lord Krishna's spotless glories. Purport by Srila Hidayananda Maharaj and Gopi Puranadana Das, servants of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Yeah, Parampara. As stated here, Lord Krishna's glory in dancing the rasa dance is pure spiritual bliss. Demigods in heaven, in charge of maintaining propriety in the universe, ecstatically accepted the rasa dance as the ultimate religious affair. Completely different from the perverted reflection of romance we find in the mundane world. Mundane world. Mundane. Yeah. So, it's describing, this whole pastime, lila activity. And you find in the Bible, right, Old Testament, New Testament, different pastimes, leelas, activities. In the Quran, you find these. I guess in Confucius's Analectics, there's some stories, but those aren't considered, I don't think, historical so much. But these are being presented as actual histories. And this is one of the points that we're making again and again, as is that the Vedic literature, the Oriental culture, and many cultures in the world, besides our European culture, which developed a certain way because of contact with Aristotle and all these kind of things, and different things like that, of what is reality and how to relate to it. Again, Sir Isaac Newton, everything he discovered, the laws of optics, the laws of gravity, the laws of mechanics, calculus, all these things he invented between the ages of, I think it was 18 and 25, something. It wasn't very long, 18, 25 years old. And before that, he was studying and writing theology. After that, he was studying and writing theology. He wrote about 100,000 pages, he wrote, of theology, which still hasn't been made available. The manuscripts have passed here and there, and maybe somebody's finally going to do it. So somebody asked him, why did you give up theology, to study nature? And he said, I never gave up theology, right? There are two books to understand God, the Bible and nature, where God is writing with his own hand. And he was satisfied. He saw all this symmetry and beauty and all these things there, that it definitely indicated there was a supreme person. But he said also, you can't really come to know him perfectly without Holy Scripture, right? Perception, logic, these things can give us the indication that, yes, we should look to the Scripture for our next investigation. And so parampara, coming down from the sources, then we can actually get knowledge of Bhagavan, Krishna as a person. Otherwise, it all remains very speculative. God's like this, God's like that. Was Professor Lon something? He was one of the professors we met during our interfaith dialogues in Tennessee. And he said, for most Jewish people, God is a person, but he's so great we can never quite catch up with him, like that. We'll see his footprints, we'll see that and that. So this is Paramatma. He's there, he has form, but we see his footprints and things. We see the hand of God in our lives. That's not, just chance, But we never can quite catch up with it, That was most Jewish people. That kind of puts them ahead of all the scientists. So I guess we're Jewish scientists, So here it's describing, and we can see that the Acharyas, which Hridayanandamars and Gopi Puranadhan, is simply reflecting the language of the Acharyas. And the point is that these things can be very easily misunderstood as simply as some kind of mundane literature like that. Some people tell us that yes, Krishna, he's an incarnation of Shriman Narayan. Yes, Krishna, he is the Hindu love god, like that. For those people who are too much lusty for associating with the opposite sex and these conjugal relationships, then God makes these things available, like that. He's kind of like a demigod. Who's the demigod for those in the mode of ignorance and goodness? Mixed mode of ignorance and goodness. Shiva is pure ignorance. Surya is the sun god, his passion. Ganesh, Prabhupada's books. So people who like to watch the Discovery Channel and drink beer and eat cottage cheese. I can relate to it, So there's different kinds of demigods, Another guy was a Siddharji. He told me that, yes, Krishna is incarnation of God, but he had a little problem with the gopis and, and kind of a little deviated there and so on, So there are many impressions about Krishna. Coming from India, probably you have more contact with these different ideas. And even coming down into Lord Chaitanya, we're considering that Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna himself, come again. Because we're taking him through Rupa Goswami, this whole channel like that. But we aren't the only Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the world. Iskcon. even disciples, even followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, right? There's so many branches coming from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. You know? And even amongst people who claim to be followers of Prabhupada, you know, some claim that Iskcon is deviated and they belong to another branch of Prabhupada Sampradaya. So there's so many, you know, different divisions. And of course, because everybody's individual, we have to have an individual relationship with God, right? Mars, Earth, and Venus, they all derive all their energy from the same sun, right? But they have different speeds of rotation, different gravity, different distance from the sun, different atmosphere. And so therefore each one has a different relationship with the sun. So what to speak of God? Every living entity has their own religion. Yeah. But we can belong to certain groups. You know, there's the earth and the moon. Yeah, there's kind of a similar relationship with the sun in some ways, distance, you know. So different groups, different organizations, you know. And so here, you know, Vyasadeva is giving the most intimate, confidential aspect of God. Right? Do the Christians talk about conjugal love of God? Usually God will send you to hell, God's all-powerful, God creates the world. This is like Mahavishnu or Yamaraj. Do they talk about conjugal love of God? Do you know about this? Huh? Yes. It's called bridal mysticism. Bridal mysticism. But it's a very confidential thing. Yeah? Yeah, they don't discuss it out in publicly like that. If you've been a nun or a monk for 25 years, you've studied Ecclesiastes and Proverbs, so you're free from the temptations of the flesh and the temptations of the mind in form of vanity. Okay, now they can start to discuss the Song of Solomon, which starts off in the Bible. It says, "Kiss me with the kiss of your lips." Is that conjugal enough for you? Yeah? No. It is, directly. Conjugal related discussion. And they start discussing it the same way we're discussing it, that this is completely free from any physical contamination, completely free from any psychological contamination, and then you can discuss it. You know? Of course, if somebody is strong enough, you know, Sukadeva Goswami was so powerful he could enter into the mind of anybody. Right? Enter into the mind of anybody. So the same way Lord Chaitanya is so merciful, so intense, that he can make us understand this. He can take us out of our gross situation, the Kali Yuga in Houston in 2017. Yeah. 2018, 2000, whatever this year is, 2018, yeah. Yeah. And, you know, surrounded by, you know, how many Taco Bell and all this stuff just down the corner. There's all these weird places selling all these, you know. Nobody's doing cannibalism yet. That's still not legal. Homosexuality has become legal. So many divorces become legal, but cannibalism, we're still waiting for that, right? Legal cannibalism. Right? Kali Yuga. Yeah. So, yeah. So Lord Chaitanya is a sublime movement. It's so intense that he can penetrate through the mercy of Lord Nityananda directly into our heart and stimulate us, and we can understand, you know, Radha Krishna pastimes. Yeah. And then different kinds of contamination. If that bija is there, Brahmande Brahmate Kon, Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade, Vailakti Lata Bij. Who says this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To who? Huh? To Rupa Goswami. Yeah. It's the kind of pivotal verse in Rupa Shiksha. Before that, he's describing different living entities going higher and higher. Then he comes to people who are liberated. Then he talks about liberated soul. Liberated soul, he can take this bija and do good things with it. But then he describes, you've got to be careful because you can commit different offenses. If you receive this experience and then start like blaspheming the experience, yeah, then it'll destroy the seed like that. You know? So we have to take care of the seed, protect it. And there may be more than one seed, right? You may have many seeds, different experiences you have, like this transcendental experience. Then hearing and chanting, you can develop a whole culture for that particular experience. You know? So here, this Ras Lila chapter, as stated here, Lord Krishna's glory in dancing the Ras Lila is pure spiritual bliss. The demigods in heaven, in charge of maintaining propriety in the universe, ecstatically accepted the Rasa dance as the ultimate religious affair. Completely different from the perverted reflection of romance we find in this world. One time I was going from the Berkeley Temple. You were there, right? Berkeley Temple? Berkeley Temple? Been there, right? Remember that? No? Yeah. So you go up Telegraph Avenue, and the first block, there's a big market on this street there, and a light. So I was waiting for the light to change, and one car pulled up, and it was a lady in a kind of old car, kind of smoke coming out of it, sitting there looking irritated, smoking a cigarette. And this kind of other car, a Volvo, pulled up. It looked like a kind of professorial type guy, and a little dog in the back seat, you know. Then a big pickup came up, and it came up right on the side of the curb, and it went up that. This guy got out, reached in the back, and pulled out an axe handle, and went over the front lady and just smashed her windshield right across the windshield. And she looked at him, and she, you know, slammed on her car, and red light, smashed right into the side of his pickup truck, and went around the corner roaring off like that. And to get to do it, she had to back up, though, so she smashed into the professorial guy behind, hit him, then smashed the guy's pickup truck and pulled off, you know. Then this guy looked at that, hit the ground with his hammer, and hopped in the car and chased right after her, you know. So you could tell they were lovers, like that, right? They were lovers, yeah. Yeah, engaged in their rasa, yeah. So professorial guy was just shocked. And I kind of went over and walked to him. I said, I got their license numbers. And he said, oh, thank you. Like that. So this is the perverted reflection of romance in this we find the material world. What is the most famous love story in the Western world? Romeo and Juliet. Even you know this. Yeah. In fair Verona, where we lay our scene, two families both alike in dignity, from ancient grudge break forth to new mutiny, and civil blood makes civil hands unclean. That's the story. Very nice. Shakespeare. Prabhupada said, "Want to understand Shakespeare? Word power. I read Shakespeare. Never was there such a tale of woe as that of Juliet and Romeo." Just, you know, of course, everybody loves to cry. Yeah, such a story. Yeah, but the whole thing, what happens? You know, ends up she's dead, he's dead, her brother's dead, and his best friend is dead. It's a whole room full of dead people like that. That's the best love story in the West. You know, huh? Yeah, yeah. How's your marriage? Yeah. Okay. It won't be successful till somebody's dead. Then you can really enjoy it like that. You know. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Right. Got a while to go yet. Yep. Till your wife is dead, then you can really enjoy your marriage, or you die first, whatever. This world, wow. The very, 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 very best romance you can get in this world is a completely sterile affair with no particular activity at all. Shuddha-sattva. In Shuddha-sattva, you get a reflection of the spiritual world. You know, it's very, very simple, direct, like this and that. You know. And then, okay, and you can realize it, what's going on, how it's a reflection of Goloka, and how we can take advantage of this to experience things and appreciate things. This is what Mother Yashoda feels for her baby. This is what, you know, Krishna feels for Radha, Lakshmi Narayan, and that. Yeah. So this is the actual situation, and the acharyas are taking time to beat into our heads that this is not a mundane affair. Actually, you're supposed to have gone through the other 9 cantos first, very seriously, before you're reading this canto. Yeah? So we close the book and go back? Yeah. Okay. This is not an ordinary affair. Yeah. This is not even an affair of Maharloka, right? Or Brahma Loka, even Lord Brahma, inconceivable. But somehow or other, by the mercy of Hridayananda Maharaj and Gopi Paranadhana, maybe we can understand it. Text number 5. Valanam nu puranam kinkininam chayoshitam sapriyanam abhuchabdas tumalo rasamandale. A tumultuous sound arose from the armlets. Tumultuous. That's pretty loud sound, right? Hansaduda, when he was our GBC secretary and zonal guru in he came there to Berkeley. And maybe like 35, 40 people from Mangalartik every day, and everybody had a pair of kartals. Everybody. It sounded like this hundreds of giant sheets of glass all falling at the same time. It was truly German. Yeah. Okay. A tumultuous sound arose from the armlets, ankle bells, and waist bells of the gopis. Wow, these gopis are really covered with bells. They got bells on their arms, bells on their ankles, and bells on their waist. They're hopping up and down. Okay. The gopis as they sported with their beloved Krishna in the circle of the rasa dance. Krita Karmadas told me that one time in Los Angeles, Prabhupada told everybody, if you wear ankle bells tomorrow morning, I'll teach you how to dance. But nobody had any ankle bells, so we missed that lesson. Tatra nushubha shubhe tabir Bhagavan Devaki Sutta Madhye Maninam Haimanam Maham Marakato Yata. In the midst of the dancing gopis, Lord Krishna appeared most brilliant, like an exquisite sapphire in the midst of golden ornaments. This is a very, very common analogy. Krishna looks like a very beautiful sapphire amidst golden ornaments. Prabhupada says in the Krishna book, is that the Krishna by himself is not very attractive. He says, but when he's surrounded by his potencies, especially his pleasure potency, he looks very nice. Again, so many examples of something like a very beautiful rough jewel, like that. It's okay. But then if you take a nice, beautiful piece of hardwood and cut a notch in it, and my teacher did this, pounded it in. Wow. Nice wood texture, different colors, brown, beautiful crystal coming across there, different angles. It just, your mind goes through 4 or 5 different, perspectives on it like that and so on. So that's our job. We're the picture frame. Radha and Krishna are the picture. Every year in the Academy Awards in Goloka, and who won Best Actor and Best Actress this year? It is Radha and Krishna. Okay. Best screenplay, somebody else. Best lighting, somebody else. Best music, somebody else. Best supporting actor, supporting actor. Okay, like that. So many, awards open like that. Yeah. Purnamasi, I guess, wins Best Director every year or something. Yeah, like that. Who wins the most evil person? I guess Chant. What's her name? Jatila Kutila. Yeah. In these soap operas in the afternoon, there's always one woman, the most evil. She's always so evil. Everybody hates her. She's like, horrible. Really, you hate her, And it goes on for maybe 7 years, and finally it's just dying out. In the very, very last scene, they always reveal this evil woman actually has a heart of gold. And she does something and saves everybody, Okay, now try. We're all going back to the spiritual world with our soap opera, But that's, Rasa Leela. It's a big soap opera, okay? Yeah. So all these, so all these ankle bells or ankle bells, arm bells, and waist bells. So we can wear these. We can come, right? We can come to temple. We can have all these bells, okay? Tatra tishu shube tabir, Bhagavan Devaki Sutta. So again and again, it's being called Devaki Sutta, no? Madhye maninam haimanam maha marakato yata. Wow. Who wrote this? In the midst of the dancing gopis, Lord Krishna, we did this already, appeared an exquisite sapphire in the midst of golden ornaments. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So here's a nice job. If you don't have anything else to do, you can go on the internet and look up, put the keywords in, sapphire golden necklace, sapphire golden ring. And you find things. You find this, yeah. I got one finally. It's like very nice blue sapphire with a golden ring surrounding it with some diamonds coming out. I took the picture, and it's cut so that this, it's like a diamond cut, but this cut is deeper and this cut is deeper, right? So it actually has a tree bungalow, and it fits in the golden ring, and the diamonds, I guess, are Krishna's expansions, like that, and so on. Yeah, that's what you can look at it. This is what it looks like. What it looks like. Krishna surrounded by. Krishna appeared most brilliant, like an exquisite sapphire in the midst of golden ornaments. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Theravada Thakur states that Devaki, besides being the name of Vasudev's wife, is also a name of Mother Yashoda. as stated in the Adi Parva. Dve namni Nandabharaya Yashoda Devakiti cha. The wife of Nanda has two names, Yashoda and Devaki. And someplace else it also explains that Yashoda and Devaki are so tight, they're such, love each other so much that they are called by the same names almost, like that and so on. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness. See what happens now? We've been going along with some meter here, which maybe you guys know what it is. Now all of a sudden Sukadeva Goswami is changing into a completely different meter for one verse. Then he goes back. Means this verse must have something special about it? No? Yeah? Okay. Wow. What is this meter? Wow. Okay. Padanya Shire Buja Vidu TB Smitayer Bru Vilasire Banjan Madhyais Chala Madhyais Chala Kucha Patai Kundalair Gandalolai Svidyam Mukya Kavara Rasanangrataya Krishna Vadvo Gayanchastam Taditaivata Megachakra Viruju. Yeah. As the gopis sang in praise of Krishna, their feet danced, their hands gestured, their eyebrows moved with playful smiles, while their braids and belts tied tight, with their braids and belts tied tight, their waists bending, their faces perspiring, the garments on their breasts moving this way and that, and their earrings swinging on their cheeks, Lord Krishna's young consort shone like streaks of lightning in a mass of clouds. Wow. Srila Sridhar Swami explains. Is there a commentary on this by Madhvacharya? Sridhar Swami's is the oldest commentary, we say, right? But Madhvacharya's commentary is before Sridhar Swami's. So why don't we say that Madhvacharya commentary is older? I've heard from Radha Radhikaraman because Madhvacharya only commented on selected verses, selected parts like that. Sridhar Swami is the first full commentary. Yeah. So there may be other commentaries also on parts of it. Yeah. And Madhvacharya is considered to be an incarnation of? Huh? Yeah, Hanuman. Yeah. So Hanuman's not going to go above, doesn't talk about these things. Yeah. So Sridhar Swami explains that according to the analogy of lightning flashing in the clouds, the perspiration on the lovely faces of the gopis resembled drops of mist, and their singing resembled thunder. The words agrantayaha may also be read agrantayaha, short, agrantayaha, meaning loosened. This would indicate that although the gopis began the dance with their hair and belts tightly drawn, they gradually slackened and loosened. Okay. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that the gopis were expert at exhibiting mudras, precise hand gestures that express feelings or convey meaning associated with the theme of a performance. Thus, sometimes Krishna and the gopis would artistically move their interlocked arms together, and sometimes would separate arms and exhibit mudras to act out the meaning of the songs they were singing. The word pada, nyashai, indicate that the gopis artistically and gracefully placed the steps of their dancing feet in an enchanting way, and the words sasmitayar, bhru vilasayar, indicate that the romantic movements of their eyebrows, smiling with love, were most charming to behold. Wow. It's all being expanded. So, any comments? No? Were you there? Did you see it? Was it devotee Mangalananda? He probably liked his songs, and he's still writing songs. He wrote still writing songs, and one of them says, I've heard about their romance. I've heard about their romance, but I've never actually seen them dance. And we can all go as squirrels like that. One pack of squirrels, Iskcon, all following Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. watching. Yeah. But what is this? What is a reflection? Football, right? Basketball. It's the same thing, isn't it? To see how the moving, right? Wrestling. Right? You want to see these very artistic movements with other person and pressure and counter pressure, right? You're watching to see artistic stuff and wow, this and that and this. Maybe even doesn't have to win. It's just like, wow, good match and so on. One after another. So dancing, with music. Of course, is there music in wrestling? When guys are wrestling, you scream and yell. Everybody remains silent. No. What did you do in college? Everybody stayed silent during the matches. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. In baseball and stuff, everybody is kind of chattering and stuff like that and so on. And they have cheerleaders and stuff. No cheerleaders in wrestling, though. No. Football, they have cheerleaders like that and so on. Yeah. So you can see this is why people, want to go see these things. This is why we're attracted to these things. It's all a reflection of the Ras Leela, dancing, singing, music, and so on. Yeah. So being described. Okay. Maybe one more verse here. Uchayar Jagur Nityamana Rakta Kantyo Rati Priyaha Krishna Bimarsha Mudita Yagitain Edamavritam. Eager to enjoy conjugal love, their throats colored with various pigments. The gopis sang loudly and danced. They were overjoyed by Krishna's touch. And they sang songs that filled the entire universe. Uddhava, after experiencing maybe a month, 2 months, he stayed maybe 2 months or something in Vrindavan. Then he composed very, very nice prayers, in glorification of the gopis. And there's one prayer, it was a longer section, but it's kind of like a summary, which I memorized. It's very nice. Vande Nanda Braja Striyam Pada Renum Abhikshnasaha Yasham Hari Katod Gitam Punati Bhuvanaitrayam. I offer my respectful obeisances to the ladies of the cowherd village of Nanda Maharaj, whose loud singing of the glories of Sri Hari purifies the three worlds. Bhur, the earth, Bhuva, where the fairies and cell phones live, that electromagnetic world, and Swarga. Prabhupada says one time, a lecture, I'm talking into the microphone, and the sound is going around the world 6 times in a second. Yeah, I said that. Okay. So then I was wondering, how fast is that? So I divided it out, 25,000 miles. It's the speed of light. Speed of light, 125,000 miles a second. Yeah. Maybe it's 8 times. Whatever it was the speed of light. Like that. So when we're talking, even when you're learning music, you learn Indian music, you know how to play the flute, right? Okay. And they start teaching you how to kick in the overtones. Right? You get 1,000 cycles per second. The first overtone, the first harmonic is 1,000, 2,000 cycles per second. Because it's going like this, right? Okay. So if I go twice as fast, that means I hit the 0 point at the same time, right? So there's no conflict, So that's why you get the harmonics on the harmonium and stuff. C, second C, middle C, So they start teaching you how to play the flute and push it. Because you play a flute, it'll go one tone. You push it harder, you get a second tone out of it, and third tone, and depending on how subtle it is, and so on, you blow it. And so you can start doing this and kicking in the overtones, the harmonics, and they start to become very settled, and it starts to sound very rich. Then if you start modulating the different harmonics, wow, then you got this stuff which you can perceive. A human being, Western culture, can perceive a half cycle change in frequency at 1,000 cycles per second. Right? 1,000 cycles per second, right? Is this true? My source here. The Acoustical Sense in Animals by Professor Leonard Stebbins. It's a good book. So you take 1,000 cycles per second, whatever that is, pretty high, and change it to half cycle per second. human being can pick it up. So on. Now, of course, you're born in an Indian family or some nice family, a brahmachari, nice sticky brahmachari from birth or whatever, all this stuff, even finer. So you start modulating the overtones and everything else, and you perceive the difference and the subtleties like that. And the Ras Leela, Jai Shri Radha Leela Madhava Ki Jai, Jai Govinda Bhog, wow, Panchatattva Ki Jai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, yeah, wow. So, and the Ras Leela is not something which is finished, right? Every time it gets better and better. They keep discovering new kind of things, thinking about maybe we could do that, maybe we could do that. We were thinking that the spiritual world is like a Disneyland that's only about 15% finished. And there's so much to do. Treasure Island, the Never Land, goes on expanding. And we go on expanding. We can also expand, and develop and grow. Yeah, okay. So they're all singing and dancing. Their throats are covered. Okay, and maybe you got a purport here too. Yeah, they sang songs that filled the entire universe. So all these levels, if we're chanting properly, if we're just singing and our mind is someplace else, then we're not modulating the psychological atmosphere. Dr. Desai, his mother just died, right? It's sad, isn't it? He's our next door neighbor in Tennessee. Very nice person, Kiran Desai. His mother left her body. She was 93 years old. It's like pious, good woman, and everybody was riding over in this moment of grief where we sympathize with you in this moment of grief. It's on we have a what do you call it, that WhatsApp group. But I wrote, yes, it's natural to feel separation. Your daddy goes on a boat to China, before airplanes to work, and you're not going to come back for maybe 1 year, but it's a good opportunity. Everything else, and everybody's crying and saying goodbye. But it doesn't mean there won't be messages, right? It doesn't mean he won't come back with really nice gifts and all this kind of stuff. Okay, yeah. So Prabhupada said it's the same way. When somebody dies, we feel separation. It's natural, but it's like that. It's not like on every level. In some ways, it's an increased opportunity for intimacy. Increased opportunity for intimacy when they're gone physically. So same way, we can be chanting on just a gross level with the tongue and the jaw, and our mind is here, and our intelligence is there, and our soul is someplace else. So it's not going around the world 8 times in a second, right? But if we start to engage our mind, so when somebody dies, what happens? It means the gross body is finished, but they still have all their memories, all their thoughts, some miser, he buried gold in his house under some floorboard, and people he's hanging out there because he's so attached to his money, it just drives him mad. People buy the house, so they're going to find my gold, and they start having, violent dreams and everything else, and so on. So many impressions, right? Different dreams, experiences. So the subtle world is the source of the gross world. Was there a blueprint? Was there a blueprint for this building? Was there a blueprint for this building? Yeah, you think so? Just kind of put it together. Like piled the stuff up. No, many blueprints, many calculations, everything else. Yeah. So those are and because of that, you can just take that out to New York and say, we like that temple in Houston. We want to build the same thing in Moscow. You got the blueprints and everything else? Yeah, we got them here. Yeah, right? Yeah. So we got the blueprint. We got our body. We got our subtle body. We got our intelligence. Yeah, and because of that, we get attached to a certain embryo. We stimulate it to grow in a certain way, and everything happens after that, one after another. So when we're chanting with our minds, our intelligence, when somebody's dead like that, I said, it's a very important time. What you should be doing is reading the Krishna book out loud. So it's your mind. If you're thinking of your mother this way, she's thinking of you that way. Right? Obviously. You're attached to her. She's attached to you. You're his son. So what are you doing? Lamenting, morose, all this? No. You should be, reading the Krishna book out loud, chanting, and creating a very, very nice atmosphere for where she exists now and stuff, So many stories. I mean, one more story on this perspective. We were in Spain estuvimos en España como 3 años pasado. Nosotros estuvimos en España. ¿Habla usted español, señorita? ¿Ella? ¿Un poquito? Sí, okay. Yes. Yeah. We were in Spain maybe like 3 years ago, And one of the girls in our community, the mother, she had committed suicide. She killed herself. I think like prolonged anxiety and stuff. What do you call it? Depression, chronic depression, everything else. So anyway, and then her friends, some of her friends kept having dreams of her, and she was suffering and unhappy and confused, and kept happening. So they asked me if they could do a Ouija board thing, right? A seance, and try and contact her. Asked me. So if you asked other sannyasis, they would say no or whatever. But kind of like, so I said, yeah, okay, look at them, okay, yeah, but be careful. So one devotee, he's a real sober guy, and he's married to one of the girls, and he said that they invited me to come and be there, and I was thinking, oh my God, a bunch of women doing a seance like that. Now forget, I don't want to go. He said, but they promised me a really good lunch. Okay, so all right, I'll go. So he told me this. He said he was sitting there, and they had a nice atmosphere with candles and this and that. Okay, very nice. They chanted some japa together, and then one of the girls who was especially sensitive, you do it, you're the best. Okay, so she started like praying and talking and everything else, and so, oh yes, she's here. Okay, the Krishna Dasi, if you're here, make the glass of water shake. And so he was sitting there. Okay, yeah. The glass of water started shaking. There's nobody with their foot on the table or anything else. And so that changed the whole thing at that point. It was like that. I'm surrounded by witches. They're going to get me. So they went on like that. I told this story before, right? And so what happened was that she had, I guess it was chronic depression. And so finally she couldn't stand it and killed herself, But then she was feeling extremely guilty because she had 2 or 3 little kids, very small, and now they had no mother, right? This is important, right? Is your mother important? Yes, our mommy is important. Yes, very important. There's no substitute for a mommy. Even a nice stepmother, doesn't do it. Okay, so she was feeling very guilty about I left my little kids like that, and what's going to happen, and everything else, and so forth, and so on. And so she couldn't move on. She was hanging out. So that the girls there, they talked, and they said, okay, they made a promise amongst themselves. They said, okay, Krishna Dasi, it's okay, you go ahead. We promise, the 4 of us, that we're going to take care of your kids and stuff like that for you, and so on, and give them as much as love and affection as you did. And that was it. No more dreams. Yes? Yeah. So very important to be chanting, reading these pastimes, understanding them with your lips, with your mind, with your intelligence, buddhi, understanding them, and finally we can enter into them, hopefully by Srila Prabhupada's protection of the Vaishnavas, we can enter in and maybe do something and participate. And we're experiencing this. Again, people are dying and all these kinds of things, and you can make all these differences, and so on. Then it's incredible. You start going around like this, you just looking at people, you become purified, and you look at them, and you can make. It's very, very difficult. I'm traveling a lot, right? Yesterday I was traveling all day. I'm spiritually advancing, and so I was trying you like to distribute prasadam. Vaisheshika distributes what? Huh? No, also prasadam. He offers all these lollipops to his deities. He said that Prabhupada approved of that, Rukmini Dwarkadish, during the marathon. So he's going everywhere, and he has suckers, he gives them out, So I was thinking, what I did, I had the devotees buy a box of Planters peanuts, right? They come in these 1-ounce containers, and they get 48 in the box. When you buy them that way from Sam's Club, it's only 17 cents a thing. And you ever notice Mr. Peanut? He's been popular for over 100 years. You know Mr. Peanut, right? Planters peanuts. He has a third eye. He has a tree bungalow, and he has a danda. So I was thinking, this is what people criticize me for. Hanuman Swami is always sahaja, thinking all this stuff. So I was walking up to this house where the Manipuris were staying, and there's a hedge on both sides, and I was thinking like Mr. Peanut like this, and so on. And I thought, you just got to stop thinking this stupid stuff. And I looked over, and right on the hedge is a Mr. Peanut package like that. Okay, all right, so maybe I'm right. Okay, yeah. Because then people what is this? You try and pass out prasadam sometimes, and people wonder if maybe it's poisoned or or something, But it's this package and stuff, and can give 2 or 3 to people and stuff. So I've been doing it. Our bank, I know the banker a little bit. So I gave her 5 packets for everybody. Hey, we got a bunch of these just for everybody. And I came back and they had all been distributed. So it's very creative. People on the side of the street collecting money. Give them a couple packages of Planters peanuts, and people look at it and it's like, yeah, okay, thank you. So, prasadam distribution, how to get on that topic. Oh yeah, I was traveling yesterday, carrying my peanuts with me. And I was trying to make contact with people, right? Prabhupada says in the Krishna book, great saintly people, they go from places of pilgrimage to other places of pilgrimage, and on the way they meet so many people and enlighten them. So always taking a few books with you, right? Stick them in the back of the seat. You never, but it's so difficult to actually establish eye contact with people. You sit there, there's 4 people across from you in the waiting lounge, and the three next to you, and how many of them are talking to anybody else? Every single one of them is like, the most they talk is well, hey Bob, look at this, so on. And the most bizarre, weird thing on the face of the earth, ready for it, is that sometimes they're texting each other like that, yeah. Right? They're sitting right there, and they're actually communicating with each other on their cell phones. Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. This happens. This stuff, Daddy, I hate you. Well, I hate you too. Like that. Whatever. Yeah, I didn't do it. Like that. So on. Who's going to take care of this and that? And it happens. It's becoming a nirvishesha shunyavadi, impersonalism. Media. So many things. So, trying to establish this eye contact with people, because you establish that, then the mind is revealed, right? You know that with eye contact, you're starting to have to, look at the personality, And Jayananda told me, he said, Hanuman, you wouldn't like to live one day in my mind. All the lust, anger, greed, you smile at your patients, right? You smile at all of them, but you're not always feeling, sometimes they're irritating you and shut up and to stick your arm out like that. Yeah, so on. Yeah, so it's going to be that way. It's going to be that way for our whole life, most likely, and stuff, because of the birth, the environment, everything else. But we can improve it. It's amazing. If all the billboards changed, if all the restaurants changed, everything changed. Probably, it is a fact. Within 72 hours, you can really just change your consciousness by conditioning and stuff. Which is why it's good to have Gaur Purnima for 1 week and see what's possible. And when we go out, not becoming contaminated by people, giving them, of course you're going to become contaminated, so you come back in the evening and purify yourself, by a regular program and stuff like that. So, but if you actually come to this level where you're on the mental platform, when you're looking at people, again, Buddhist phrase, where's it go? When two thieves meet upon the road, they need no introduction. They recognize each other by sight, right? You ever recognize another wrestler? You look at somebody, yeah. I think usually you pick out guys and you kind of look at them and ask them. I was flying last time we landed on a little airplane. It only had 8 passengers. I started this journey. So far, there's 10 weeks traveling. Sannyas, 10 weeks traveling. Okay. Well, we left Murfreesboro, had to drive. We're going to go to the bus stop, take the Greyhound because it only goes 2 blocks from our house. And to get to Atlanta is, practically speaking, it's as easy to take the Greyhound as it is to go up to the airport and fly and go back again. But these idiots, the Greyhound, we were thinking they were idiots, didn't tell us it had been canceled because of the snow in Chicago. So we sat there waiting. Did we miss it? Everything else. Finally, we got a hold of a human being, and she didn't know what was going on. And then Manjari, Nitya Sundar's daughter, started insulting her and calling her like a horrible person because she was doing this to her patients and clients and everything else. And she said, "Would you like to talk to customer service?" Yes, I would. Okay. And she, "Oh yeah, it's been canceled." "Why don't you tell us this? Well, we try and communicate best we can. You should take care of your customers. Hey, you only paid $25 for the ticket." "Oh, okay, all right, yes, all right." "You want a refund?" "Yeah, we do." "Okay." Then how to get to Atlanta? Because the next day, if I'm not there, I'm going to miss my appointment with the Brazilian embassy, which I've been taking 6 weeks to set up with all the documents, so I can go there, teach in the GBC college. I went back to my cave. The water was turned off because it'd be gone. No cold water, everything else. Okay, $500 for an air ticket on Southwest Airlines last minute. Somebody can take you up to Nashville, and for $75 you can get a car and drive for 5 hours and drop it off. Oh, Boutique Airlines, only $100. Tried 3 times and finally got a ticket that night. And Ritavraja Swami drove us to the airport. He wanted to go early, so he sat there for 2 hours waiting in the airport. And then the girl came and said, oh, Mr. Robinson, it's time to go. Coming over directly. What is this? Yeah. And you two, so myself and 2 more ladies got up. This is it. This is the whole airplane. Boutique Airlines. Went out, and it was a really cute, tight-looking Swiss airplane with only 8 seats. The whole airplane, 8 seats. Yeah. And the co-pilot kind of came back and said, okay, the peanuts are in this drawer, the 7-Up is in this drawer. And there's no ice, but don't worry, it's cold enough anyway. And you should sit over there and put your suitcase here because you got to kind of balance it. And this is the bathroom, and I got to clean it, and it's only a 1-hour flight. All right, yeah. And I never remember having so much fun in the last 40 years, The thing, when it takes off, it doesn't have to go down the runway. As soon as it's moving, it just takes right up, came up through the clouds. The sun was setting. It was unbelievable. It actually set. Okay, then we went to Muscle Shoals. You know Muscle Shoals? This is why it's subsidized. The government subsidizes these little airplanes to give air service to these strange places like that. Then we landed. The terminal was like one little house, like with 3 security people. We picked up 2 more people. And one of them, the second I saw the guy, I thought this guy is some kind of young, sports guy. And he didn't look like a football player. And so I guessed he was a professional baseball player, and he was. Yeah, so, yeah. And he started talking all about it and stuff. Now, that's small on an airplane. You got to talk with everybody, so on. So if we're on the mental platform, when we got it together, when we meet people, we can understand their mentality, And if our intelligence is actually awake and perspective, whatever, deeper our perspective, we're Krishna conscious. And you see somebody again. I've met people, Christian monks dressed in ordinary clothes. As soon as I see them, I recognize them, and they recognize me, so on. It was two guys. I just right away, recognized them. It was ordinary clothes in the airport, and they started smiling, looking at me, and they said, "We're Catholic priests, Well, why don't you even wear the collar?" You see, you're kind of laughing and apologizing. See, none of us do that anymore. And when we see you, we feel guilty because you're going out here dressed like a, godly type of person, and stuff, So the Ras Leela is going on the gross level, I guess. It's going on the mental level. The minds are involved again, and it's going on the spiritual level, right? Of Vaikuntha, of Goloka, yeah. So very, very difficult to penetrate. So tomorrow, the verse will be, number 8, right? Yeah. But I didn't do the purport. Yeah, okay. So 10:33:8 tomorrow. So any final questions, comments, complaints? He has a complaint, yes. Okay. By himself. Yeah. Krishna book. Yeah, in the Krishna book, this chapter, probably exactly the one about the gold ornaments. Prabhupada said Krishna by himself is not very attractive. That's basically it. Maybe it's a little bit different, but that's pretty it. But when he's surrounded by his potencies, especially his pleasure potency, then he's very attractive. And it gives us an example of a sapphire. Again, you've seen that. A plain crystal by itself is kind of interesting, but when you mount it, then it looks really good. Okay. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, now you can break the fast by eating some of the garlands here. But don't, see? But don't eat too much. Yeah, jai. Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila. Sarva Manoram. Okay.